Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where with no little trepidation, I'm going to attempt a puzzle that many of you have been struggling with, according to our email inbox. Anyway, this is called Stishovite, and it's by Bellsita and Wisteria Fall, supervised by XeonRisq. So it's a real congregation of incredibly clever people have contributed towards this puzzle. But it is a terrifying one, actually. It's got... if we go to Logic Masters, I don't know if that will show up. Maybe it will. No, you can't quite see, but it does say, I promise you, it says 5 stars out of 5 for difficulty. And there's a wealth of really there's a wealth of really lovely comments from some of the great and the good of the Sudoku community. Really, so many big names there saying that it's fantastic. I like Chameleon's comment. Whispers led with grace. Each deduction earned its place. Cages are just cages. It sounds like something we might have seen in Blueprints last night. But yeah, this is what we're going to have a go at. Now, one thing I am delighted about, not the difficulty rating, but the fact it has one of my favourite rule sets. I can't remember who it was, but a couple of years ago, somebody had the idea that it would be entertaining to create puzzles where you couldn't repeat a digit on a particular type of constraint. And that's what this one's got in it. So, for example, in fact, there are 9 cells there. Those Renbanic cells, don't worry if you don't know what a Renban is. I will explain everything when we do the rules properly. But basically, they have to contain 9 different digits. And so do all of those, whatever type of line that is. Maybe a modular line. So maybe all of those have to be different as well. It's a very clever rule that leads to lots of interesting logic. So I hope I'll be able to find some of it. We'll read the rules together in a moment or two's time. I had to look up as well what a Stishovite was. And it's some sort of silicon dioxide mineral or something. But it's meant to have an incredibly clever structure. Hang on, have I still got it up here? Let me just read this to you. It says, well, maybe this goes towards the difficulty of the puzzle. Stishovite is an extremely hard, dense tetragonal form of silicon dioxide. It is very rare on the Earth's surface. However, it may be a predominant form of silicon dioxide in the Earth, especially in the lower mantle. Named after a Soviet high-pressure physicist who first synthesized the mineral in 1961. So, there you go. We learn something new every day. Well, for some of you that will have been old news, but for me it was new news. Right, before we do the rules, let me trot through some things that I wanted to mention. Thank you very much if you joined us last night for the Blueprint stream. It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. Again, the moderators had to work overtime. But what we're discovering in that mansion is, it wasn't what either of us were expecting. And I'm sure we'll be back again next Monday. But thank you very much if you joined. I will try and remember to put a link to the VOD on the screen in case you missed it. Big thanks too. We have just ticked over 699,000 subscribers on YouTube. So we are really closing in now on that 700,000 number. If you do watch and you do like the videos and you're not subscribed, please consider it. We'd really appreciate it. Now, over on Patreon, 2 things are going on. Actually, I might be able to show you one of them. I might be able to show you both of them, actually. The first is this. Oh, no, that's the second. That was meant to be the first. The first is a video in which I attempt GCHQ's Puzzle of the Year. GCHQ being the UK security service, obviously. That is an amazing puzzle. It is not a Sudoku. It's more of a sort of puzzle hunt type puzzle. But there is a very long video of me wrestling with that over on Patreon. I hope in due course it will make its way to the main channel. But if you want to watch it early, do check it out. It's over there right now. And tomorrow is the 1st of July. and that means it's competition day. So let me switch that to that, and you can see there we've got detective pets for our new competition created by Panthera and Sandra and Nala, of course. So there's some fog of war if you enjoy that sort of thing, some Japanese sums if you enjoy that sort of thing, and overall we know you're going to love it. So that's going live tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. UK time. Check it out if you'd like to win the chance to come onto the channel and solve a puzzle and appear in a video. Now, other news. Birthdays. I've got two. Well, I've got one birthday and one other thing. Amelia, you're turning 24 today. I know this because your girlfriend Natty wrote to us and told us that you watch every day, and you like comparing your solving times to mine. I'm sure you come off better in that, but I have to talk. I have to explain what I'm thinking, and sometimes what I'm thinking is not exactly clear. So, but anyway, Amelia, I hope you have a great birthday today. Many happy returns, and I hope you can find some heavily iced chocolate cake. And then a get well soon message to Tara down there in Perth, Australia. Tara's been in hospital recently, I think unexpectedly, and has been using Cracking the Cryptic as a bit of a distraction from all that's been going on. But Tara, I was very pleased to hear that you're home now and you're convalescing, still watching videos. Thanks so much for spending some time with us, and I wish you all the best with your continued recovery. Maybe you can find some cake. I find cake makes me feel better at all moments. Now, that's all the news. Shall we have a go at Stishovite? I must learn that name. Stishovite by Bellsita and Wisteria Fall, as supervised by XeonRisq. What do we have to do if we're going to solve this one properly? We've got normal sudoku rules apply. So we're going to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. No digit may appear more than once on a particular clue type. So this is the rule I mentioned earlier. So then we've got a list, I think. Actually, it's quite a long list of the various clue types that there are in the puzzle. So there's German whispers. Adjacent digits on a green line differ by 5 or more. So if this was a 1, this would have to be at least a 6 in order to be sufficiently different from one clue. So it could be 6, 7, 8, or 9. And that's how German whispers work. Now, presumably, we have to sort of, for the purposes of the funny rule, we have to treat these as combined, if you like. We can't repeat digits in any of those 8 cells, effectively. Now, Renban. Purple lines must contain a set of consecutive non-repeating digits in any order. So if this was a 1, then this line would have to contain 1, 2, and 3, but they don't have to be in order. You could just put 1, 3, 2. That would be absolutely fine. They just have to be a consecutive set without a repeat. Modular lines. Any sequence of 3 adjacent digits along a teal line, so I think that's this one, must contain a complete set of residuals modulo 3, i.e. 1 digit from 147, 1 digit from 258, and 1 from 369. Now, if you struggle with remembering that, one way of doing it is to look at your number pad on your keyboard, and what we're doing there is we're taking a vertical slice. So you can see 1, 4, and 7 are in the first vertical slice, 2, 5, 8 in the next vertical slice, 3, 6, 9 in the third vertical slice. So we have to take 1 digit from each of those sets. This business about residuals modulo 3, some people are scared by the word modulo because it was never explained properly when they probably did it at school. Basically, it means if you divide a number by 3, what's the remainder? So you can see a number like 7, 3 goes into it twice with a remainder of 1. So it's said to be 1 modulo 3. And the same is true for 4. It divides exactly, well, it goes in once with a 1 remainder. The digit 1, 3 divides into that 0 times, but always with a 1 remainder. So as Maverick flies over, 1, 4, and 7 have that same property under division by 3. 2, 5, 8 will have a 2 remainder. 3, 6, 9 will have a 0 remainder. Parity lines. Digits along a red line must alternate between odd and even. So if this was a 1, this digit would have to be even, 2468, then that digit would have to be odd again. Killer cages. Digits in a cage sum to the number in the top left if given. It says basically they are cages. I don't know what that means. I can see their cages. I believe you. Digits in a cage sum to the number in the top. There's no top left. Okay, so I think what we're just being told here is that those 3 digits are different. We don't know what the total is of the cage, but we know that because you can't repeat a digit in a killer cage. Oh, that's weird. Oh, I do understand. I was just thinking. So if you can't repeat a digit in a cage, couldn't that cage have been constructed like that? That would have been appropriate, but it would have been much less beautiful because it wouldn't. This arrangement or that arrangement of nonsense there, if that was the cage, wouldn't have looked as beautiful as everything else, where we've got this sort of regular, probably Stishovitean, tetragonal nonsense or whatever it was that were going on with the structure of the mineral. Anyway, so that's what's going on with killer cages. Odd even. The grey circles, of which there's only one. The grey circle contains an odd digit. The grey squares contain even digits. Okay. There's not many more rules now. So we've got black crop key, cells separated by a black dot must have a 1:2 ratio. Now that means one of the digits will be double the other. So if this was 4, this is either going to be 2 because 4 is double 2, or it's going to be 8 because 8 is double 4. And white crop key, cells separated by a white dot must be consecutive. So if this was a 4, this would either be 5 because 5 is sequential or consecutive with 4, or it could be 3 because 4 and 3 are next to each other in some sort of numerical scale. There are no negative constraints of any kind. Why is that there? That's simply saying, imagine this was a 4 and this was a 2. There could have been a black dot between those, but there doesn't have to be. So that the absence of a black dot is not telling us anything about this domino. We just know positive information about that dot and positive information about that dot. Similarly, I guess there's some even digits in this box somewhere, and they don't have to be marked by grey cells. They are all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video, as usual. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, where do we get cracking? I mean, I can see it's very clear, isn't it? Then because you can't repeat a digit in a constraint, there are all of these sort of 9-cell extra regions in the puzzle. Let's use red for that. None of these 9 digits can be a repeated digit, so it's a bit like a 3x3 box of the Sudoku. It just doesn't look like a 3x3 box. It looks like a funny shape, sort of like a rabbit facing its friend rabbit over here. Now, okay, so I've now had a strange thought. This isn't Wisteria Fall, is it? Why is this? Why? Because what I've just noted, if you look at this one, these 9 digits are all different. But if we ask where those digits, those red flash digits, where do they go in box 1? Well, because they can't repeat within this indigo shape, they have to go on that horseshoey thing. But that pattern So those digits, that pattern exists in all of these tetragonal corners, doesn't it? Those digits are going to be those digits. Exactly the same logic in the killer cages. You can't repeat a digit in any cell of a killer cage by exactly the same logic. So Whenever you get a puzzle where something seems to be going on with the 2x2s in the corners, it does, I think, suggest we should be thinking about Stishovite. And sorry, just to explain what Stishovite is this theorem that exists in all Sudoku puzzles that says that, grey, I shouldn't use grey, should I? What could I use? Purple? That says those purple cells around the central 3x3 box, if you count them, there are 16 of them. In any Sudoku you like, these digits, these purple digits, are the exact same digits as the 16 cells in the corner of a puzzle. Now, I can prove that, but I tend to only run through the proof if there's a reason to do so. So let me just get rid of purple. So what we're saying is, you see, these digits are already in the ring, that purple ring I just drew. These are in that purple ring. So these, the sort of winged cells of these things, those ones, have to find their way into the ring. I really hope that this isn't what I have to do here, because that's so complicated. Let me just, do you mind if, sorry, I know this is probably very, well, it's probably very annoying for some of you who can see what to do, but I just want to look at this and just think about it for a second, or at least a second. So obviously this digit can never be a red digit because it sees all 4 red digits. So that these 2 red digits here have to find... Oh no, but they could... Well, there's no point them overlapping with the... No, these have to be in some way in those. That one can't be there, so that one has to be... No, this is... I don't know, if this is how you're meant to do this, I have no idea how I'm meant to see that. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to abandon that. I don't really understand how to make that work. It's very pretty, but I don't get it. So I'm just going to go back to the beginning. That's not a propitious start, is it? As Maverick flies over again. I mean, okay. Well, why don't we start with the whispers then? Because there are 8 whispers cells there. Now, I do know some things about German whispers lines. The first and the most obvious thing is you can't put a 5 on them, ever. Because the digit next to the 5 is meant to be 5 different from 5. If we go up, we get to 10 and higher. They're not Sudoku numbers. And if we go down, we get to 0 and lower. And they aren't Sudoku numbers. So it's not surprising that we don't see 9 cells of German whispers in the puzzle, because that couldn't be compatible with this rule that says you can't repeat a digit. If there were 9 German whispers cells in the puzzle, 5 would have to be one of them, and it couldn't be. So we know that this congregation of digits is, or are, the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Not 5, for the avoidance of doubt. So, I don't really understand how to use that either. I mean, we can say some things about these little horseshoe shapes, like, I mean, imagine the corner digits are 1. Because you can't put 5 on a German whisper, every cell can be thought of as either having the property of being below 5 or above 5. And the interesting thing about that is that if this is, for example, below 5, this top left digit, this can't also be below 5, because these two could never be 5 apart. They could only be 3 apart at maximum. So what you get is this weird effect where you have to oscillate along the line. So whatever the polarity is of that first digit vis-a-vis 5, whether it's higher than 5 or lower than 5, this will be the opposite, and then this will return to this one's polarity, etc. Now, the other thought I'm having there is that 4 and 6 are relatively difficult digits to put on German Whispers lines because 5 had no possible neighbours. 4 and 6 have one possible neighbour. Imagine that's a 4 in the corner. This digit has to then be 9. It's the only Sudoku digit sufficiently different from 4. If this is 6, this has to be 1. So what you can't do is put 4 and 6 in any of those cells. Because to do so would imply this, and that's going to break Sudoku. So 4 and 6 are in the tips there. I mean, it's a terrible pencil mark, which means 1s and 9s will be in those cells. Now, is that doing anything? 4 and 6. So there's a sort of floating 1-9 pair in row 2. 1s and 9s will appear in 2 of those 4 cells. So does that mean that can't have? No, I'm not sure. No, I think maybe that could be a 1 or a 9. Yeah, maybe if this had 4, 9, 1, 6. Maybe that is possible. Oh dear, I'm not getting on very well with this, am I? I'm not exactly sure. What about, okay, let me just give some thought to the modularity of the lines. Modular lines have to contain one of each remainder. No, that's horrendous. I've got no clue. And parity lines have to contain, well, we don't know, but we know that there's going to be 5 odd digits, 4 even digits on those parity lines. Right, okay, I've finally got something then down here. What we said before is that those digits are the same digits as those, which is true, isn't it? This digit, it has to exist in this box somewhere, and it can't repeat on a red line, so that digit is in one of those, and the same is true for all these. Now, this digit, which is an even digit, where does that go in the red lines? It must be one of them because there are nine different cells on the red line. So that digit doesn't go in its own box, doesn't go in its own column, doesn't go in its own row. So it's in one of those 2 cells. But that's quite interesting because that's in the end of a parity line, and it's even. So this whether this is even or whether this is even, this parity line has 2 even digits on it. Because if this is even, it's then going to go odd even. And if this is that digit, it's going to go odd even again. So those are both even. And these 2 parity lines then can have a maximum of 1 even, because there are only 4 even digits in Sudoku. And obviously any 3-cell parity line must have at least 1 even digit on it. Because that one has 2 even digits, these must both have 1 even digit on them. So the even digits on these lines must be in those positions. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 there. These are odd, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. This digit is in one of those 2 cells. Don't know which one. And this is something, at least, we can say about the puzzle. Now, so maybe is this actually a parity puzzle then? I mean, a Renban line is always going to have... Oh, wait a second. Hang on. Ah, I don't know. No, I don't know what this means, but I've just realised something totally obvious about that collection of digits. We know all 9 digits are represented, but we know each line individually is a consecutive set of 3 digits. So those those digits there are in some order a 1, 2, 3, a 4, 5, 6, and a 7, 8, 9. So, for example, if you knew this was a 7, you would know instantly these were an 8, 9 pair. Because this couldn't be a 7, 6, 5 sequence. Because if it was a 7, 6, 5 sequence, how would you make sure 8 and 9 appeared on these lines? They couldn't appear because wherever you put the 9, you're going to get a second 7. So that's not going to work. So okay, so what this means, it does, right, this goes back to what I was thinking about before, actually. Yeah, this is lovely. Okay, I finally think I've understood something that was intended. I mean, this was probably intended, but this I think is genuinely interesting. Let's go back to what I was thinking about in row 2, where I said that in those cells somehow, some way, that the digits 1 and 9 have to appear because of where 4 and 6 have to appear on these horseshoes. And what I want to look at is that one. Because these 2 digits here, they see that Renban in its entirety. That digit sees those 2 in its box, that one in its row, and that one's the same. So these 2 digits, whatever they are, cannot appear on this Renban. Now, what are these digits selected from? And the answer is we have almost no clue. We know that they're not 4s and 6s and they're not 5s. So they're from 1, 2, 3, 7, 8 and 9. And one of them is going to be lower than 5. One of them is going to be above 5. So how could this be 1, 2, 3? Or 7, 8, 9? Or 7, 8, 9? It couldn't be. Because if it was, imagine it was 1, 2, 3. One of these has meant to be a low digit. Neither could be, because they would sit, they see that these 2 digits see this whole 1, 2, 3 triple. So it would be impossible for there to be a low digit in either of these cells, and they would end up being the same polarity, and they couldn't be 5 different. So that won't work. So this one is 4, 5, 6. It has to be. Now, what does that mean, I hear you ask? I don't know. Well, no, I do know. I've got a digit. I do know. Because, these thingies, we said, well, it's true, that they have to have 4 and 6, and the 4 and 6 have to be in those cells. So that there's a sort of floating 4-6 pair that exists in row 1 between these 4 cells having to include the 2 digits 4 and 6. So that digit is a 5. And now, well, so these 2 digits, well, hang on, let's just do Sudoku down here. let's stick to the knitting. It is, after all, a Sudoku puzzle. So I've got 1 even, 2 evens, 3 evens. I was going to say, if we knew there was an even in that domino, and it's very likely there will be, because I mean any. Oh no, actually, there's only one. There's only one even on that whole line, because we've hypothecated 4 and 6 of the 2, 4, 6, 8 quadruple of even digits in Sudoku to this line. So this line's either got 2 or 8 on it, and the same is true of that one. So it is perfectly possible for those to both be odd, unfortunately. Okay, so maybe what we do instead then is we say that digit. No, this might not even be true, actually. Well, one thing that is true. Oh no, that does. No, hang on. No, this is okay. This is okay. Right, so we do sort of know something about 4 and 6 on the horseshoes. If we make that one grey and that one blue. Now, we know from the earlier logic that this blue digit has to appear somewhere in box 1. That's the nature of Sudoku. That digit's definitely in there somewhere. And it can't be on the pink lines. So it is on the horseshoe. I don't know which one it's in, but it's in one of those. Which means it's in one of these. Now this one, on the other hand, has to make an appearance on a horseshoe, because we know the horseshoes consist of all the digits except for 5. So that one can't go in that there at all, so it must go in those two. So each horseshoe has one of the difficult digits from 4 and 6 on it. Sorry, I know I'll stop talking. I'm just trying to understand if that does anything more than that. And the answer is maybe, actually. Right, this renban, I don't know what it is, but it's either 1, 2, 3 or 7, 8, 9, isn't it? So those two digits there, those two, where I'm flashing on, those two see the whole of that renban. Yeah, this is beautiful, actually, because it's symmetrical with the logic we found in the row. For some reason, I find it a bit more difficult to see it, but that domino, it has to have a high or a low digit in it, obviously, because it's these pair of digits, one of them is going to be lower than 5, one of them is going to be above 5. Now, whatever the nature is of this renban, it's going to knock out. Imagine this was 1, 2, 3. These digits couldn't be 1, 2, or 3 because of Sudoku. These two digits see that whole renban. So what is the digit of the parity of this, not parity, polarity of this renban that goes in that domino? It's going to have to be the 4 or the 6. So let's think that through, make sure we're all comfortable with it. If this was 1, 2, 3, we can't put 1, 2, or 3 in here, but we need one low digit, so we're going to have to use 4, and we can't put 4 here, so it's going to have to be there. So in fact, this digit is the 4 or the 6. It can't be there in the corner. If it was there in the corner, this domino would be unfillable. So this digit is a 1 or a 9. I'm sure this does something. So that digit now, this is weird. That digit is now that remember has to find a place on the pink lines. It's not on that one, and it's not on that one, and it's not that one. So in true Little Britain fashion, it's in one of those two. I want that one. One of those is 1 or 9. Which makes me want to say that that one is on the... That's got to be true, hasn't it? If this was 1, this digit would be 2 or 3 by polarity along the whisper. And that would have to appear on this one. Yeah, okay, so that one, whatever this one is in the corner, and I've got no clue what... Well, I know it's got the same polarity vis-a-vis 5 as this one. So imagine this was 1. This would have to be 2, 3, or 4, but it can't be 4. 4's in one of those two. So this would be 2 or 3. And if this was 9, this would be 7 or 8. But whatever it is, this orange thing, it must be on the same 1, 2, 3, or 7, 8, 9 Renban as this digit. So that orange digit is on that Renban, along with its yellow friend. Now, okay, all right, I can go a little bit further than that. There's a 4, 6 over here. Now, hang on, can we do the same trick then? If this is 4, 6... Oh no, it doesn't work the same way. Oh, that's horrible. No, it doesn't. No, sorry. Okay, what I was thinking is... Oh no, it's horrible. It's horrible. I was wondering if I could use these dominoes in the same way I've just been using them here, because that domino sees the whole of that modular line. Nearly said Renban. This domino sees the whole of that modular line. But of course, modular lines are horrible creatures, because they just need one of each remainder. So I can't use the beautiful fact that German whispers oscillate polarity around 5 to help me know anything about modular lines. At least I don't think I can. So I don't think I can say that has to be 4 or 6 and this has to be 1 or 9. I mean, what I can say is that because one of these is 4 or 6, one of these is 1 or 9. I mean, that is true. Which means this digit sees a 1-9 pair in the row. So that this digit is 2, 3, whoopsie. It's 2, 3, 7 or 8. Yeah, okay, let's just make that purple for a moment. That digit is 2, 3, 7 or 8. And it has to make an appearance in the purple Renban cells. And now I know where it goes. It goes there. So that digit is 2, 3, 7 or 8. I'm actually wondering, am I meant to do this by... Oh, I might be doing this puzzle wrongly. Okay. Here's my question. I'm sorry if this is obvious to everybody. It certainly is not obvious to me, but I'm just suddenly looking at the puzzle. And I'm trying to think about how... What's breaking it up? What's telling me the highness or lowness of these lines? And I've got a horrible feeling it's going to be this dot and this thing, and maybe that thing, but more likely those things. Everything else is very regularly occurring. So what I'm then wondering is, am I meant to just guess this is 4, guess this is 6, and trace through the deductions that flow from that until we get a problem, or it works across these black dots and white dots? I don't know. I don't know, and part of the reason I don't know is that I have no feel for whether or not these modular lines are actually... I mean, I could believe the modular lines do something that I can't, in my head, I feel like they're doing nothing, or I feel like they're very difficult to fill. Ah, the grey, this is grey, and by Sudoku, it's not that one. So it's one of those two. Now, so if this was, say that was a 7, that would be an 8, 9. Yeah, here's a very strange thought. Those digits there, let me just flash them on and off. They are those digits. Because none of those digits are 5. So they have to make their debut on one of the green horseshoes. They have to. And they're not on that green horseshoe, so those digits are those. So, okay, let's just I'm going to make those lime green. And I'm going to say that this horseshoe is therefore entirely made up of that cell, which I know is at the top, and lime green. Yeah, okay, and that is useful. That is useful because remember the other thing we know about horseshoes. The other thing we know about the horseshoes in the corner, and indeed the 2x2s in all the other corners, is that these digits map exactly to those digits. So those digits are the same as those. So what's that one? That one is definitely not a lime green digit. It sees lime green already. So that the only thing that can be is the grey digit. So these are the lime green digits. All right, to go further than that, this one is a flavour of lime green. Where does it go in the horseshoe? And the answer is, well, it's in this domino with the grey digit. So let's change the colour of that. We'll make that one dark green, and therefore we'll add a bit of dark green here. So we'll say these are 2 lime greens and a dark green, and therefore this is the dark green, and that's the dark green up there. So we've got 2 lime greens. You see, I could divide the lime greens up now. I'm going to do that, because that lime green now is not that one. It must be this one. So those two are the same. We'll use red. And these two are the same. So these are now... So these ones, which originally were just lime green, have now been tri-coloured. They are trichromatic. They are a combination of red, dark green, and lime green. And what colour? Five. Where's 5? Where's 5 in box 2? One of 2 places. It can't be one of these coloured digits. Oh, it must be a colour I haven't used. Hang on. Well, 5 deserves to be a colour. 5 can be indigo. So there's an indigo in one of those 2. And so what on earth do we do next? So one of these is the 1 or the 9 that corresponds to whichever one of these is 4 or 6. So one of those is 4 or 6. I know which one it is. It's the grey one. I just don't know which one of those is the grey one. And the green digit, the dark green digit then, which is up here. No, we don't know, do we? We just know it's 2, 3, 7, or 8, I think. Because we know it's not 1 or 9, because one of those is 1 or 9, and that's 1 or 9. So it's not 1 or 9, it's not 4 or 6, and it's not 5. So it's 2, 3, 7, or 8. And I mean, this is the problem. This is the problem. All three modularities are represented there in terms of remainders under division by 3. You've got 2 and 8 from the 2 remainder. You've got 7 from the 1 remainder and 3 from the 0 remainder. This one has it hasn't yet seen a 2, 5, 8 digit. So one of those has to be a 2, 5, or 8. And 5 is in one of those 4 cells in box 3. But 5 could just easily sit here, couldn't it? That could be 5, that could be 5. If this was 5, this would have to be... It depends what this is. This is very tricky. That's odd, not 5. I know, no, I don't know. I was going to say I know one of those is even, but that's not true. I don't know that. I've got even, even, even in this column. So if one of those was even, I'd know everything else was odd. But that could be, well, it could be 7, 9, or it could be 3, 1 or something. So I don't know what to do. These evens all have to be different from each other. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? They are a set of the digits 2, 4, 6, and 8, because you can't repeat a digit on a clue. I don't know what to do with that either, I'm afraid. Oh dear, I think I'm going to get stuck now. I'm really concerned that what I have to do is to think about this box. And frankly, that is a little bit terrifying. I know each of these modular lines has to have a digit from each modularity. This is such a bad digit. How do I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm having a complete mental block about this. I don't know what to do. If I just don't. Am I being terribly dense here? Probably am. I mean, literally, the pencil marks that could go in there are 4, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. I can't do that. That's crazy. These two, one of them is a 1 or a 9, and one of them is not 5, not 4, 6. So these are one of them is 1, 9, one of them is 2, 3, 7, 8. Two, 3, 7, 8. So Don't know. I don't know. Sorry. What's... I don't even know how to think about this. What is it I'm meant to understand? 4 and 6 are not on that one. I mean, if they were from the same modular group, that would be an exciting thing to note. But 4 is from 147, 6 is from 369. So, okay, let's imagine. So this line must have... It can't have 4 or 6 on it, because we know that it can't have the blue digit on it and it can't have the grey digit on it. So it must have 3 or 9 on it, and it must have 1 or 7 on it. So if... So does that mean you can't put 3 in there? If I put 3 in there, obviously that by sudoku knocks 3 off this line. Yeah, okay, that does mean that. Now, is that symmetrical? So if I put 7 in there... Jeepers creepers. Right. Okay, this is the domino we're going to look at, I think. I'm not actually sure this is going to do very much. I think I can get rid of... By thinking about this line here, and thinking about the fact that it can't have 4 or 6 on it, that revealed to me that it needed to have either 3 or 9 on it. Let's start there. It's got to have either 3 or 9 on it. Now, one of the options for these two digits I had thought was a 3. But 3 is slightly interesting on a whispers line because it's very restricted. If this was 3, what would you surround it by on its whisper? The only two digits that work are 8 and 9. And now you've given this line a problem because it can't have 3 on it, and that would be the same if the 3 was here. It can't have 9 on it. This one can't be a 9. There'd be a 9 in one of those. And it can't have 6 on it because 6 is either the grey digit or the blue digit. So it's broken. It needs to have one of those digits on it. And I think that is the same, although my brain is being a bit recalcitrant about this, but with 7. If this was 7, this would be a 1-2 pair. I know I can't put 4 on here. So it's the same problem. So this domino, it can't have 3 or 7 on it, or 4 or 6 on it, or 5. So it is 1, 2, 8, 9. And we already knew one of them was a 1 or a 9. Are these digits now 1, 2, 8, 9? Because those two are the same as those. Oh, it's almost so... it's almost really interesting. So... okay. 3. Okay, I've got something here. This is actually Not the most stupid thing I've ever said on the channel, I think. I've actually got something here. Right. Oh, I've got tears in my eyes, actually. That is really... I'm very surprised about this. But I can now get a 1, 2, 8, 9 quadruple in row 2, I think, by thinking about this cell. This is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. Bellsita, Wisteria Fall, and XeonRisq. I don't know how you came up with any of this nonsense, but that is not a 3 or a 7 for just a gorgeous reason. There's not really sudoku. Imagine this was 3. We've just been looking at it over here. What do we know we've got to partner the 3 up with on the whisper? If we make this 3, those have to be 8, 9, don't they? But remember, we can't repeat digits on the horseshoes. So if this is 3 and this is 8, 9, those can't be 8, 9 anymore. They would repeat on the horseshoe. So they're a 1, 2 pair and they're not 5 different. So this is not a 3. And I'm going to treat myself by thinking about if this was 7. If this was 7, this is a 1, 2 pair. They're the only digits that are 5 different from 7 in Sudoku. And now this would be an 8, 9, which doesn't work. So that is not 7. And now look at that. 1, 2, 8, 9 in row 2. So that is 3 or 7. Which means these are 3, 7, 4 or 6. This one is now 2 or 8. That's quite cool. That by Sudoku has to go there. It can't be an odd digit. So that's actually got me a way into this thing down here. That is a 2 or an 8. But it doesn't really matter, does it? Because the parity line is literally, it's not doing anything to the sizes of the digits. The even digits have to include one of those even digits is purple. Well, it's not in the row 8 ones now, so one of those has to be a purple, which means purple is over there by Sudoku. Oh, now, hang on. Column 2. I now have got an even digit. 1, 2, 3, 4. So everything else in this column is odd. I hope you can forgive me for that, but I'm definitely prepared to make that pencil mark and have a think about that. Is that useful? I don't know is the short answer. If... Oh dear, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. It was going quite well, wasn't it? Well, at least we'd done something. So if... This is baffling. It's absolutely baffling. I keep staring at these, thinking that I'm now going to be able to do some Sudoku, or I'm going to be able to have some sort of intelligent thought. And then I realise that I'm not, actually. So... I don't know what to do again. Okay. So... Do we know... So if this is 2 or 8... Right. Okay. This is odd, I think. Because this line, there was one remban that had to contain 2 even digits, and it's the 456. The other 2 rembans are 1, 2, 3 and 7, 8, 9. So this one, we've got a 2 or an 8 on, and that's its only even digit. So those are both odd. And if this is 2, this is a 1, 3 pair. And if this is 8, this is a 7, 9 pair. So that is an odd digit. And how does that relate? So I know one of those digits, it might be, well, no, hang on, something weird. So if this was 1, 3, they obviously couldn't, so this has to be either lime green or red, doesn't it? Because if these two definitely include an even digit, one of them is 1 or 9, the other is 2 or 8. So the one of these that's 2 or 8 is not though, this is 2 or 8. I don't know its colour, unfortunately. Although, okay, I know it's not purple. So, okay, so I've now got a 2-8 pair, so that corner digit is now a 3 or a 7. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? So yellow and orange together are either a 1-3 pair or a 7-9 pair. They're going in the wings there, so they're either 1-3 or 7-9, depending. And I know that this isn't the dark green digit. This is one of those two, whichever one is the even digit. And I don't know what to do with this, but that's some new knowledge for us. Okay, if that's a 2-8 pair, that one is not 2 or 8. That's 4 or 6. Oh, and there's a deduction. Hang on, that's quite good. I've discovered something in column 3 now. That digit is not the grey digit. That is the blue 4, 6. So that is totally new knowledge. Right, okay, and I can do something more with that. I've got a blue 4, 6 here. Now I know one of my even digits in the bottom of those cells has to be blue, the blue 4, 6 digit. Well, I've got blue 4, 6 looking at that one, blue 4, 6 looking at those two, so that is blue 4, 6. Yeah, this is lovely. This is such a sick puzzle. Right, now I'm going to look at my congregation of killer cages. I know one of them is blue 4, 6. Which of these digits can be blue 4, 6? It's not anything in its own box. It's not anything in the row with this blue 4, 6. It can't be in the row with this blue 4, 6. So that is blue 4, 6. Now where's blue 4, 6 in the middle of the grid? It's got to be there because it's not odd. Now blue, look at this. Now, look, this is great because I'm going to get blue 4, 6 in box 3. That's blue. Now. I'm going to get this digit. Well, not digit, but I'm going to get it. This one has to be. It can't be 1 or 9 because we've had a 4, which is from the 1 remainders 147 set. We've had a 6, which is from the 369 set. So we need something from 258, and that's that one. So this one is. So that. Right. So now, red. Oh, I see. Okay, so now lime green is that one. red, and this is not. So this is red and that one. Now, I have no idea what that means, but it must mean something. It must mean something, he says, desperately trying to work out exactly what it might mean. I don't know, sorry. I've got this one. I've still got to put 5. Look, 5's only got 3 possible places. So, oh, I don't know. I've got a lot of... No, I haven't. I have got quite a lot of digits in row 2. I've got a 2-8 pair. I've got a 1-9 pair. I've got a 4-6 pair. I haven't got the 5. It might go there or there. And I've got to have the partner. I've got to have the 3-7 that isn't this one. So I've got to put that one into row 2. So these digits are from 3, 5 and 7. And one of them is orange. So could that be orange? If that was orange, you wouldn't know that would have to be a 2, 5, 8 again. So that would have to be 2 or 8. Would have to be purple. And then 5 would appear on this line. And if that's 1, if this is 1, then there's 1 and 3 looking at that line. And if it's 9, there's 7 and 9 looking at the line. So then you've got to put... yeah, okay. Here is a strange point about that line. It has got to have that digit on it, yellow, I think. This might be wrong, but it's the same sort of thing we did with this line. This line here has got to have... Oh, it's hard to explain, but... Or let's do it the way I just did it in my brain. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Let's imagine this is a 1, firstly. Then we know that this renban over here is a 1, 2, 3 renban, but 1 and 3 is sort of Christmas poinsettia. This poinsettia pairing here are looking at this. So we've got to put a 3, 6, 9 digit in these cells if this is a 1. Which one are we going to have? We can't put 3 on. We know that 6 isn't on here because 6 is the blue digit and the grey digit, and they can't go in there. So we're going to have to put 9 on it. So if this is 1, the 9, which is the yellow digit in that instance, is going to be on that line. Now, let's try it the other way around. If this is 9, now we've got to worry about the 1, 4, 7 digits on this line. Because we know we can't put 4 on it, but if this is 9, one of those is a 7, so we can't put 7 on it. So we'd have to put 1 on it, which is going to be the yellow digit. So this has always got a yellow digit on it, which means that is not a yellow digit, which means this is a yellow digit. And the yellow digit is the 1 on the 9. So we're slowly... Now, that digit is orange by nothing more than sudoku, which means this digit is 5 by nothing more than sudoku, and that's not 5. And this line has had a 3, 6, 9 and a 1, 4, 7, so it needs a 2, 5, 8, and it can't have 5, so this is got to be a 2 or 2 on 8, and it can't be the lime, so it's got to be the purple. So that is not purple. This is 2 or 8. And 5 is now on here, along with its friend the yellow. So these are 1, 5, 9. And that line is a 1, 5, 9 line, look. Now, what is that digit then? I don't know. I do know. It's purple. It's just purple 2-8. It's just got to be that, but by sudoku. So I now know. Ah, I know more, don't I? The 1-9 here has to be the friend of the 4-6. If we put the 4-6 there, that should be a 1-9. So we get more done. So that's got to be that way round. Now the 3-7 was the green. That one is the grey. These digits now are, in some order, lime green, red, and yellow. And none of those are being looked at. Oh, bobbins. Okay, so that's a 1-9 pair and a 2 or an 8. Okay. Okay, so we can't do that yet. Though, what on earth? I mean, this shows the sheer IQ that is brought to bear on some of these puzzles that when they're created. How on earth did you make this? I mean, I don't know how you go about making. You have to have such a superior, a talented mind to think about numbers in this way. It's weird. So this column, I've had all my evens in it, so that is odd as well. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. I know it's not 5. So it's 1, 3, 7, or 9. It's not lime green. Sorry, not yellow, I should say. So, no, I don't know what to do now. Did we? That's not blue anymore. That one's that one. Those two are the same. Let's just make a note of that. These two digits are the same. Remember, right at the start of the puzzle, we said that digit has to find a home in the red cells, and we said it was in one of those two, because it has to be, by sudoku. Well, it's not now this one, because that would make it blue, and it would clash in all sorts of positions. So it is, those two are actually the same. Now that means... we already knew purple was in one of those. That means that... You see, this is deliberate as well. This is deliberate as well. These 4 cells... How am I going to show this? I've used so many colours. Those 4 cells there, I'm going to use circles. These 4 cells. At the start of the puzzle, all we knew is that they had to be different. But now they've transported themselves. Because that one is a blue one, so that's gone there. This one, by red parity logic, has gone there. So now these 4 have to be different. So I now know not very much more. I know grey has to be in one of those. That feels totally deliberate, doesn't it? That those digits feel to me like they've been selected to move here. Grey is in one of those. So grey, yeah, all right. Where's grey in row 4 then? That works. If that's grey, and grey has to appear in one of those 4, and it does. I don't know which one of these it is, but it's one of them. So grey in this row now can't be there. It's not odd. Can't be there. So it's there. So that's a new discovery of greyliness. And now I don't know. That must do something, mustn't it? I know it does something, I just don't know what it is. If I've got lots of things in this row now, those digits are 3, 5, and 7. That's not 5, so that's 3 or 7, so I should be able to colour it. I can't. Oh, bother. Okay. We could. I'm sorry. I'm conscious today. I keep stalling. My brain keeps freezing on me. It's just. Where? No. So hang on. In column 2, I need a lime green and a grey, don't I? These 2 digits here. And so I don't know what the order is, but they are lime green and grey. And so this digit is lime. That one is the same as that one. So that's lime green or grey. So now, the one I haven't got in this row is purple. So purple is in. That is interesting, I think. Where's purple in this row? It can't be there. It's not an odd digit. It can't be there. So purple is in that pair of digits. And I'm patiently waiting for my brain to announce to me exactly what that means. And my brain is not telling me. Naughty brain. No. So, I'm so sorry. I'm being... I tell you what I could do, which is a very straightforward point. Where's blue in that box? I'm going to do that. It's in the corner. So now this digit, those are all the evens, aren't they? So that digit's odd. 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. Right, that digit is 5. I'm going to claim now. That might be wrong, but I think it's right. Because this digit has to find a home in the 2 by 2 in the corner, that cell there. It's not that one, that's in its own column. It's odd, so it's not those 2, so it's that one. So those 2 have to be in one of those 3 by Sudoku, and those 2 are even, so those 2 are odd. They're 5. And that's a little bit of an easier win for the goodies, maybe. 5 we know is an indigo digit. So, oh no, it doesn't work. That's not 5 anymore. 5 in box thingy is in one of 2 cells, which is a little bit interesting potentially. Is it all going to come down to sort of this having to have an odd and an even digit on it? Is that something that I should be considering at this point? Yeah. Well, nearly anyway. Yeah, I definitely think there's a point there. While I'm looking at it, purple in this box is in one of those cells. So that's an indigo purple pair. So these are from 258. These are all different. That one. Yeah, this digit is just simply odd, isn't it? Because it sees all 4 evens. That's weird. That one is that one. So those 2 are even. That seems to be even by being blue. And then where's purple in the row? It's definitely not there. So this digit is just odd. Now, we must be able to use the white dot then, can we? Because this digit, therefore, has got to be even to be consecutive with this odd digit. So that digit is either lime green or grey again by dint of sudoku. Now, the problem with that is it seems to have all options being available to it. So that's 2, 4, 6, or 8. Oh, hang on. No, I understand the puzzle. I understand it. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I've got something very interesting now. Wow. Wow. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look back at box 5, where, unless I'm very much mistaken, I have 2 even digits there and 2 even digits there. So that's all 4 even digits, which means this on the black dot is an odd digit. Now, black dot digits are difficult if they're odd, because they can only be 1 or 3. Because anything bigger, 5, 7, 9, if you halve them, you don't get integers, and if you double them, you don't get sudoku numbers. So 1s and 3s are possible, but 3 is not possible, because that's in one of those cells. So that's a 1. So this is a 2, which means this is 4, 6, or 8, because those 2 are the same, remember. So this is 4, 6, or 8 as well. These are not 1 anymore. 9 in this box has to be there because it's not 3. This is an odd digit that's not 3, 5, or 7. So this is a 3, 7 pair. Unbelievably, that doesn't seem to resolve itself. Ah, right. Now this 1, 9 have to find a home in this box. I know one of them's there, but the other one's going to have to be there. So what's the other colour of 1, 9? Red. So that's a 1 or a 9. Wow, that's good. That's these 2. So now that one's got to be my red one. Ah! This one's got to be the green one. And that digit, I was going to say it's not 5, is it? What is it then? It's lime green, 2 or 8 is what it is. So these, no, they aren't poinsettia. What are they? They're 3, 7, which is orange or green. And this is 2 or 8. And what's that one then? That's yellow. That's a yellow 1 or 9. So this isn't a 1 by sudoku. This digit and this digit are the same, aren't they? Because that one has to find a home in the 2 by 2 in the corner as well. So that's not 9 by dint of this column. So this is now 3 or 7. And I know the flavour of that one from this column. So that one is the green flavour. This is the green flavour, which means this is the green flavour, which means this is the orange flavour. This is the green flavour. Whoopsie. Bad Simon. Naughty Simon. Now what do we do? Now I've got a 5 by sudoku because that's a 5 by dint of the fact it's not 3 or 7 anymore. So this is not 5. Now I can colour the middle. I've got a green here, which means that's going to be the orange. This can't be a 1, because this can't be a 2 to be consecutive with it. There must be. Oh, if this is indigo 5, we know which is indigo in the bottom of the grid. So that one now is, this is a purple. Ah, oh, that's huge. That is huge. That's purple, and it's not 2. So purple, this has done it. I've done it. When I say done it, I mean I really haven't done it, but I've really done a bit. Because if this is 2, purple is 8 wherever it appears in the puzzle. So we can trace all those through, and that's going to give us the polarity on the whisper. 8 can't go next to 9. So yellow, see, I can't really do this very efficiently, but yellow is now 1. And that is a 3 in the corner, isn't it? That is a genuine 3 in the corner, I think. Oops, well, it would be. That's 3 in the corner, that's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. So now blue has become 6 wherever it appears, which is a lot of places. Remember, these are all different. That green is now 7. Sorry, I'm doing this probably the slow way. That's got to be lime green's got to be 2 now. So this one is not purple. That one is purple 8. This is lime green. Therefore, that is not lime green. That's got to be grey now, which that doesn't. It takes 9 out of that one. 7 comes out. Oh, 7. Look. 5 and 7 come out of this cell by Sudoku. So that's 3. Grey is 4. That does make sense. That's exactly what we'd expect. So that feels like it's not a complete ricket. That's got to be a 9. 7, 8, 9 on the rem band. So red's a 9. This is a 1, 5. We're taking 8 out of this. So this became 1, 2, 9. So that's a 9, which is a red digit. These are no longer red. 1 and this is a 2, is it? Yeah, lime green is 2. Lime green is 2. I've got a lot of colouring tidying up to do, but I don't mind that. Now 4 is my grey digit. And that's a lime green digit. And that, oh yes, that digit was the same as that one, wasn't it? So that's 4, and that's, therefore, this is probably lime green in the column. So we know lime green is a 2. Now, what do we need along here? 1, 3, 7. Let's make sure that's properly purple. 1, 3, 7 along there. 4, 5, 8 along here. I love the fact that Sudoku seems to be behaving itself. Now, what about here? We need this to be a 3, 9. We can do it. 3, 9. 3 is orange. 9 is red. 3 is orange. Now, what can we do with this? 5? No, not quite. It's probably just going to be tidying up these boxes. Maybe we could do... No. Is this 1, 2, 9? Is it? Maybe it is. 1, 2, 9 here. I don't seem to know anything about these cells, which is slightly distressing. It'll probably be a question like... Here's a good question. Lime green has to make an appearance in the killer cages. Where would we like to put it, given it can't go in any of those top ones? It's got to go in this bottom one, and it can't go there. So that's a 2, which gives us a 1, 9 pair there. That's a 2. So this is a 1. A lime green is that one, therefore. This is now yellow, which hopefully corresponds with 1, and it does. That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. Now, if this is 1, 9, it is yellow and red in some order. And okay, it's going to, okay, these digits now are 5, 7, 8. Bother. They are 5, 7, 8. Oh, well, that's quite good because they are indisputably in the killer cage. So these can't be 7, or 7 would repeat. So 7 gets placed up here. Now we've got a 5, 8 pair in this column, which is great. So that gets a 1 and a 5 in there. The 1 is yellow. The 5 we've recognised as indigo, haven't we? Which now doesn't go there. Somehow that doesn't resolve itself. But we can now deduce, I think, by sudoku. We still, if we look at the congregation of killer digits and we say what's missing, 4 and 9 are missing. So we've got to go 4 here. We've got to go 9 here. So that becomes 5, 8, 4. 5. Please work. Just please work. 3 here. 1 here. 7 here. 8 here. Now that should be a collection of all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That must be right. 1, 2, 3. So 1 here, 1 here, 2, 3 here, 2, 3. Right, all we've got to do now is to tidy up our colouring. And then we need to give an awful lot of credit to the complete geniuses who've made this puzzle. So let's try and do that. That's indigo. 1's a yellow. Doing this in the most inefficient way possible. 7's were dark green. 4's were grey. 1's were yellow. 2's were lime green. That is a ridiculously clever puzzle. Wow. Wow. I mean, what an astonishing implementation of an idea. I guess the idea was, you know, can you construct these weird shapes in with different rules attaching to them that force sort of the 2x2s in the corner? And can you use that 4 times with 4 different rule sets and make a puzzle that works? And somehow they have. But the logic they found is just beautiful. It's so varied. I mean, I loved the way that this little domino and this little domino had sort of profound effects on those Wren bands. I tell you what I thought was mad. The hardest bit of this for me was this box. And there was this most peculiar interaction between, and it was, the thing is, it was not, I don't know, this just doesn't work in my brain, but the 3, 6, 9 and 1, 4, 7 being restricted differently, but the sort of same way. You had to, you know, it had an effect depending on, yeah, whether you picked 3 or was it 7 in there. It had the effect, you know, on its own modularity and that line, and whether it could appear at all. I mean, that was completely. And then this stuff down here, when, I loved that. I loved the fact those 4 turned out to be the same. That was gorgeous. This is a very, it's a very sophisticated and utterly brilliant puzzle. How long does it take me? An hour and a half. Okay, so it's taken me quite a long time, but I have got through it, and I am absolutely thrilled to have done so. I think it's a brilliant puzzle. Very tricky, but quite lovely. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.